What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in the United States, what's going on in Washington, D.C., money, investing, and the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, which will be the largest stimulus package yet to date, almost twice the size of the $1.9 trillion third stimulus check package. And the U.S. House of Representatives is working on it right now. We're going to talk about that in this video, the next stimulus package, details on that, what they're talking about right now, as well as a new article about how Social Security is in trouble, new details on that, as well as what this might mean for the future of the proposals from the Democratic Party and how they want to raise Social Security benefits for millions of seniors and adults on Social Security, what this might mean for the proposals about raising Social Security in the future, raising Social Security benefits. So I'm going to talk about the problems with Social Security based on this new article that just came out, what this means, and what might this mean for the future based on the Democratic proposals and how they want to raise Social Security benefits. There's several different proposals to raise Social Security benefits by $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. President Biden himself has a proposal to raise the minimum Social Security benefit to $1,341 per month would be the minimum Social Security monthly payment for qualified workers. So I'm going to talk about the problem with Social Security based on this new information that came out, then what this could mean for raising Social Security benefits based on Democratic proposals on how they want to raise Social Security, and fourth stimulus check update on the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's jump right in. Remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. And remember, new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll keep you up to date with everything going on in our country. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. Okay, as you can see here on this report by NBC, new data is out that suggests that the Social Security Trust Fund now is projected to run out of money sooner than expected due to the pandemic, the Treasury says. That's right, you can see it here right here in black and white. I'll say it again, that the Social Security Trust Fund is now projected to run out of money sooner than expected due to the pandemic, the Treasury Department says. Here's the details. And I'll show you these details in black and white so you can see it directly on your screen as I'll show you this, and then we'll talk about the details here in a minute. I'd like to show you guys this stuff in black and white so you guys know everything I'm showing you is true, and we'll read it together, and then we'll talk about what this means and what this means going forward. The Social Security Trust Fund most Americans rely on for their retirement will run out of money in 12 years, 1 year sooner than expected, according to an annual government report published on Tuesday. Okay, so that Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in as little as 12 years, according to a new annual government report published on Tuesday. The outlook, aggravated by the pandemic, also threatens to shrink retirement payouts and increase health care costs for older Americans. The Treasury Department oversees two Social Security funds, the Old Age and Survivors Insurance and the Disability Insurance Trust Funds. Those programs are designed to provide a source of income, respectively, to former workers who have retired at the end of their careers or to those who cannot work due to disability. Officials said that the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund is now able to pay scheduled benefits until 2033, which would be 12 years from now, 1 year earlier than reported last year. The Disability Insurance Fund is estimated to be adequately funded through 2057, which would be 36 years from now. That is the Disability Insurance Fund. 8 years earlier than is reported published in 2020. Though the two funds are separate under law, the Treasury Department said the hypothetical combined funds would be able to pay scheduled benefits on a timely basis until 2034. But again, they are separate under law, so that is just hypothetical. You could pretty much disregard this 2034 hypothetical number. Senior administration officials said in a press briefing Tuesday afternoon that a spike in deaths among retirement age Americans in 2020 helped keep the program's cost lower than projected. They added that the ultimate long term impact of the virus is less clear as cost and revenues return to their extended forecast. The Treasury Department said it estimates the level of worker productivity and thus GDP is assumed to be permanently lowered by 1%, even as they are projected to resume their pre-pandemic trajectories. Trajectory is something we're going to be talking about in a minute. Trajectory is a huge, huge part of this whole dilemma. We're also going to be talking about the money that the government took out of the Social Security Fund and basically never put back. Nevertheless, the financial outlook for the Social Security and Medicare, two of the nation's preeminent safety net programs, has deteriorated over the past year as the pandemic has hastened retirements and caused a contraction in the size of the U.S. labor force. There was no change from last year's projection that the Medicare's hospital insurance fund would be depleted in 2026. At that point, doctors, hospitals, and nursing homes would not receive their full compensation from Medicare, and patients would likely bear the responsibility for any cuts to coverage. So this article goes on for a while here, and it basically says if Congress does not act by a certain amount of time, Social Security may have to cut benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Social Security has a long known that it faces a simple math problem. With thousands of baby boomers retiring every day, there's an insufficient number of younger people entering the workforce to offset the costs. And this is kind of where we get into the heart of the problem. I pretty much fully understand this entire problem. There's several factors at play here. It's actually a very complex problem that can be solved in several different ways. Number one, the government has basically dipped into the Social Security Fund many, many years ago, and they've basically taken money out of the Social Security Fund to use at their will, basically never put back in there. So number one, the government basically owes the Social Security Fund many, many trillions, billions of dollars, okay? So when the time comes, I fully expect to, in the simplest of form, the government will probably, if the time comes, the government will probably just bail out the Social Security Fund. That is probably the very simplest of answers. In the simplest of answers, when we look at these last stimulus packages that have been passed, the first stimulus check package passed by former President Donald Trump was $2.3 trillion. The last stimulus check package by current President Biden was $1.9 trillion. We'll say almost $2 trillion. Those two packages alone combined were over $4 trillion. Okay, that is honestly what they will do is just pass a stimulus package and just put a few trillion dollars into the Social Security Fund would be the easiest, simplest form to save Social Security in the short term. The other thing they will do is change the trajectory of Social Security. Okay, this is also how they will probably do if and when they want to raise Social Security benefits for seniors. Okay, now you might say, Jimmy, well, how could they possibly raise Social Security benefits? And also, if Social Security is running out of money. And this is where trajectory comes into play because trajectory can basically save everything. Okay, and a perfect example of this is California. And California was actually at a huge deficit. They were like hundreds or dozens of billions of dollars in the hole. Their economy was going like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, and now they're have basically Governor Gavin Newsom. I'm not gonna like praise him or anything because you can leave that up to you. But basically, their economy went like this to like this. And now they have over $100 billion in the positive. They have so much money that they're literally sending out a huge amount of stimulus checks to their residents. In fact, when you look at this here, when you look at the 25 million people alone that they're sending out stimulus checks to, yeah, that's 25 million. And they're sending out $600 stimulus checks to. Now, remember that some people are getting $1,100 stimulus checks because they're getting a $500 stimulus check for children here. That alone is $15 billion, okay? And this is because they basically changed their trajectory just by changing things in their budget. You know, they spend less money here, they take more money in there, they change several different things, and all of a sudden they go from a budget shortfall to a budget surplus, and they've basically gone from losing money to making money, and they have hundreds or dozens of billions of dollars extra per year, and all of a sudden they can afford to give out stimulus checks to their residents. And California is actually a huge economy. And they're actually like the 5th largest economy in the world or something like that. 6th largest economy in the world or something like that. Social Security can do the exact same thing. And this is how the proposed Social Security raises, they actually want to raise Social Security for pretty much everybody. Check these out. Here's 3 of the different proposals. Number 1, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Senator Ron Wyden have unveiled a plan to increase Social Security benefits by $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. The plan is to provide more than 60 million Americans with an additional $4,000 over 2 years as part of the Senate Democrats' bold Phase 3 stimulus proposal. Now, they have talked about doing this as a permanent increase of $200 per month. $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. Okay, this is proposal number 1. Proposal number 2 and proposal number 3 are very, very similar. I'll show you I'll show you them both here based on this article. President Joe Biden campaigned on raising Social Security benefits. You can see here what President Biden's latest move could signal for Social Security reform efforts. President Joe Biden campaigned on changes to Social Security benefits, including benefit increases and payroll taxes for those making $400,000 and up. What they would do is they would start adding Social Security payroll taxes on wealthy individuals that make over $400,000. You can see here in 2021, the limit stops. They stop taking out Social Security taxes after you make $142,800 because basically your limit for Social Security is maxed out. So anybody that makes over $142,800 in 2021, you stop paying Social Security tax. You no longer pay any Social Security tax on any income over $142,800. Well, President Biden's proposal is to basically make anybody that makes over $400,000 would then start paying Social Security taxes again. They wouldn't get any benefit out of it, though. It would basically go towards the benefit of others in Social Security. It would basically be they would pay a Social Security tax, and it would go to the benefit of everybody else. You can see here, this would create a so-called donut hole, exempting those above the wage threshold. And then, basically anybody between $128,000 and $400,000 wouldn't pay any Social Security taxes, but over $400,000, you would start paying those taxes again. Over time, that gap would close as the wage base would increase. That's really not important. What's important is that over $400,000, those people would start paying that tax again. That money would go back into that Social Security pot, and that would be used for Social Security raises. Biden called for these increased taxes or these increased levies to help pay for the proposed Social Security benefit increases, including raising the minimum Social Security benefit to at least 125% of the federal poverty level. Now, the federal poverty level right now is, for a single person, $12,880. Okay, $12,880. When we look that up, $12,880 for the year, which divided by 12, is $1,073. President Biden's proposal, there's another proposal that it would raise Social Security to that exact amount, 100% of the federal poverty level. So that would raise Social Security benefits to a minimum level of $1,073. Okay. President Biden's proposal is to raise it to 125% of that level, as you can see right here in this article from NBC. Okay. So 125% of this level would be $1,341 per month. That would be the minimum amount of Social Security for anybody that is qualified for this amount. You might have to have a certain amount of years worked. We wouldn't really know the details of that until this is passed. The important thing to note here is that they easily could do something like this by simply doing one of two things. One, pass a stimulus package or bailout package, basically just pass a $2 or $3 trillion package like they're doing right now. They've passed multiple packages within the last 12 years. President Biden and former President Donald Trump passed multiple packages for trillions of dollars for stimulus packages. Former President Trump's first stimulus package was $2.3 trillion, and that basically just went to the national debt, the national deficit. No taxes were raised. That first stimulus packages was $2.3 trillion. They just passed it, and there was no taxes raised. It just went to the national deficit. That second stimulus check package with the $600 stimulus check, that was $1 trillion. There was no taxes raised. It just went to the national deficit. In fact, as you can see here in this article from December 31st, 2020, former President Donald Trump actually added over $8 trillion to the national debt or the national deficit in just 4 years, largely because of the stimulus packages. I mean, the first stimulus package alone was $2.3 trillion. That second stimulus check package was $1 trillion. So between the two of those, that was $3.3 trillion. Okay, that was almost half of the $8 trillion. Remember, there was a couple other minor stimulus packages in there. Remember that former President Donald Trump actually had 5 stimulus packages. 2 of them had checks, but there was 5 stimulus packages in their total. He added $8 trillion to the national deficit in just 4 years. President Biden is probably going to add more than that. But remember, President Biden's first stimulus package, the third stimulus check package, was $1.9 trillion. And remember, there was no taxes raised for that. That went to the national deficit as well. Almost $2 trillion just in one shot. Boom, just like that. $2 trillion added to the national deficit just in one shot. Okay, so Republican, Democrat, who it is, this pandemic is just adding to the national deficit like hotcakes. Like hotcakes. The national deficit is just going up in smoke, guys. Honestly, it's just the national deficit is just kind of an arbitrary number that just is going up like hotcakes, and it is what it is. Whether you're a Republican president, a Democrat president, it's going up. It's going up. People need help right now, and trust me, if we weren't helping people right now, it would be a lot worse. It'd be a lot worse. It'd be 1929 all over again. So, yeah. Now, actually, this next stimulus package and this next infrastructure package are actually the first 2 packages that are very, very different. President Biden's third stimulus check package and former President Donald Trump's packages were all different. Those, nobody paid for it. They just went to the national deficit. But this $3.5 trillion stimulus package and the $1.2 trillion physical infrastructure package, those are going to be mostly paid for. They're saying almost 100% paid for. When they pass, we'll find out what the exact amount is. Remember, the Congressional Budget Office comes up with a number, but they're using some money from like the unemployment money that the states kind of opted out of, that the Congressional Budget Office isn't giving them credit for. But even Republicans said, well, we're using that money, but the Congressional Budget Office isn't giving us credit for it. Even the Republicans said that. So most of the infrastructure package and the stimulus package is going to be paid for, near 100%, whether it's going to be 90%, 80%, whatever. But it's very different than the last stimulus packages because former President Donald Trump's, all his stimulus packages were not paid for at all. And the third stimulus check package under Biden, nobody paid for that either. Okay. I have no allegiance to either president, so I'm just telling you guys the truth here. But these next two stimulus packages, the Republican and Democrat-backed physical infrastructure package, the $1.2 trillion package, which is backed by both sides, and this $3.5 trillion package is going to be paid for. They're raising taxes on corporations, they're raising taxes on the wealthy, exactly how they could fix Social Security. That's also how they could do Social Security raises and it's kind of like a Robin Hood. They could just tax the rich and give it to the poor. And that's exactly how they're paying for this next stimulus package. Is they're going to tax the rich and they're going to tax the corporations and they're going to give it to the poor. Whether you agree with that or not, it's kind of weird because most Americans do. But that's what they're doing. That's how they're paying for this next stimulus package. They're taxing the rich and they're taxing the corporations. And there's also some creative financing in there. They're saving money with Medicare and the prescription drugs thing. They're gonna save a lot of money there, like $600 billion a year. Okay, so there's a big savings there. I don't know if it's per year and they're gonna save trillions there. I'm not the Congressional Budget Office, so I don't know the exact number of how much they're saving. But that's where they're saving all this money and raising taxes and adding all this stuff up. And that's how they're going to get to $3 trillion to pay for this package. So, yeah. But let me know your thoughts on this Social Security thing. I'm really not worried about Social Security. I'm 40 years old. When I get to 62 or 65 and Social Security, I fully expect that Social Security will be there. Why? Because when Social Security gets close to running out of money, if they get there, if they don't change the trajectory by the time it gets there, they'll simply just bail it out. Nobody in their right mind, Democrats or Republicans, are going to let Social Security run out of money. It's just not going to happen. Literally, there would be riots in the streets. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. They'll change the trajectory. They'll adjust rates. They'll adjust payroll taxes. They'll tax the wealthy. They'll adjust corporate payroll taxes. They'll adjust the corporate tax rate. Literally, they could just add an extra 1 or 2% to corporate tax rates, and literally that would change the whole trajectory for Social Security. So that's exactly what they're doing right now for this $3.5 trillion stimulus package. And literally by changing the corporate tax rate and taxing the wealthy by a few percent, they come up with $3.5 trillion. So that's exactly what they could do for Social Security. And that's exactly what they will do. So that's why I don't think Social Security will ever run out of money because they change things by just a little bit. They turn the dial just a little bit, and it changes the trajectory from going out of money to going into money. And that's exactly what California did as well. California was losing dozens of billions of dollars, and all of a sudden they changed things just a little bit, and they went from losing dozens of billions of dollars to gaining dozens of billions of dollars. And Social Security has to do the same thing. And it might be through a bailout stimulus package or a stimulus package for Social Security. And it also could be through trajectory changes, payroll tax changes, taxing the wealthy, taxing corporations, stimulus packages, all those combination of those things. So I'll keep you up to date on everything. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how you can get rent assistance. You can get your rent paid for up to 12 months. It's about halfway through the video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.